Hello everyone, today I have in my hands what I think is one of the greatest $100 watch homages that I have ever seen and used in my 2 years of watch collecting. This is the stunning Cadison C8185G, an homage to the Rolex Date 840. Cadison may not be as well known as brands like Bergeon Design, most likely due to the fact that Bergeon Design tends to make homages of extremely popular designs like most of the Rolex models. However, this does not mean that Cadison does not produce anything good. The actual fact is quite the opposite. From the original Royal Oak homage that brought the Cadison name to light to the latest Seamaster and Nautilus homage that they have produced, Cadison is to me one of the best watch style producers under the $100 limit, manufacturing extremely delicate and beautiful designs from sunburst to waffle dials. Besides their dial manufacturing, Cadison can also stand toe-to-toe with the likes of Bergeon Design in terms of finishing and material. They also have a heavy focus on wearability, placing comfort above looks when producing a watch. Such can be seen in the bracelet of the homage of the Royal Oak and also in the Date homage I have with me today. I purchased this watch in February last year, that is February 2021. The watch has lasted this long and is still able to tick away accurately at an estimate rate of plus or minus 5 seconds a day. This is due to its thin but extremely capable Miyota A285 movement, a movement in the A200 family with its less capable brother being the A215 that can be found in many watches in this price range. The Cadison Date comes in at around 40.3mm, not inclusive of the crown, a thickness of around 11mm, not inclusive of the Cyclops, a lug width of 22mm and a lug-to-lug of 48mm. The curved lugs and thinness of the watch makes it conform to the wrist extremely well, giving it a sleek but dressy look. The watch has the real Date's signature fluted bezel and sparkles and shines really well under light, albeit not as well as the bezel on a real Date or Date Just. Sitting in the bezel is a sapphire crystal with a Cyclops that has a decent level of magnification, allowing the date to be displayed clearly for the viewing pleasure of the user. The crown unfortunately is not screwed down, but the watch still has a claimed rating of 100 meters of water resistance. The bracelet on the watch is a presidential styled bracelet, just like on the real Date 840, with polished mid-links and brushed outer links, making the watch a super comfortable time-telling tool for daily usage. The watch is constructed of 316L stainless steel, making the case of the watch slightly weighty, whilst giving a satisfying solid heft to it. The bezel of the watch seems to also be made out of the same 316L stainless steel and is polished beautifully, with it being an homage to the Rolex Date fluted bezel, getting close in terms of shape but nowhere close in terms of finishing, which is expected of a $100 watch. However, you still get a similar sparkly shine to it as on the real watch. Between this bezel sits a slightly raised piece of sapphire glass carrying a Cyclops that is unfortunately made of mineral glass and has a rather low magnification. As I stared deeply into the piece of sapphire glass, I was surprised by the fact that Cadison decided to do an engraved rehaut like the rehaut found on a Rolex. Just a small detail showing that they really do put in some care about their watches. The lugs of the watch are also polished excellently and sit flush with the bracelet, something that unfortunately some watch producers at this price point get very wrong. Besides all that, the crown is also worth mentioning, being a pretty solid piece with Cadison's strange looking logo engraved into the side of it. The caseback of the Cadison Date includes a piece of sapphire glass set in a ring of engraved and polished metal, proudly showing off the Miyota caliber A285. The engraving on the caseback is done really well, with the words popping out of a recessed basin, claiming a water resistance of 580 m or 50 meters, showing the name of the brand, model of the watch, and the fact that the watch is automatic. The caseback is a 6-prong stout caseback and so can be opened by a cheap JAXA tool. The bracelet unfortunately is one of the cons of this watch. The bracelet is a copy of the Rolex presidential bracelet with its polished center links and brushed links on the side. The bracelet fits very well with the case and is nearly flush with no visible solid ending gaps on mine, whilst also having a crisp feeling butterfly clasp on the other side, of which has a nice loud click when you close the clasp. However, the bracelet being a cheap presidential style bracelet speaks no wonders for it. With the hindsight of the watch being only $100, it is expected that no watch company around this price range has ever or had ever made a bracelet on a watch that got anywhere close to Rolex in terms of quality and precision. The polishing on the center links on this Cadison is subpar, while the brush links are brushed well but inconsistently. The bracelet has a large amount of lateral wobble and gives off a flimsy sort of feeling. There is, however, one saving grace to the finishing of the bracelet. As we flip the bracelet around, we see a beautifully brushed underbelly with well-rounded edges for each and every link of the bracelet. This makes it one of the most comfortable bracelets I have ever worn, even when compared to the likes of Rolex. Its comfort along with its great sizeability makes the watch a very comfortable daily wear. The absolutely stunning dial on this watch is another outshining pro of the Cadison Day-Date. The dial carries a staggeringly complex and aggravatingly beautiful sunburst blue effect, giving it different colors in different lighting situations. The dial can go from a bright starburst blue to a deep dark indigo as the watch scatters light. This, along with the clear sapphire glass, causes the watch to look as if there was no glass between you and the dial itself. Printed on the dial is 5 ATM waterproof and 21 jewels near the 6 o'clock and Cadison automatic near 12, with a metallic sticker of Cadison's logo stuck on the top. On the dial sits beautiful angular Roman markers and hands, just like the ones that can be found on the Rolex Day-Date. These markers and hands reflect light just as well as the sunburst blue dial, but in its own way, creating a similar sparkle as the fluted bezel. However, there can be some improvement made to the dial which I feel would make it far better, for example replacing the metallic sticker Cadison logo with a raised metal piece like the ones found on a Seiko 5. Besides that, this watch also comes with a few other dial options and colors which are all homage colors to the Rolex Day-Date, some of which include black, silver, yellow gold, green, and most notably a slightly dulled meteorite dial, with the green dial being quite similar to the dial on the platinum Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Jumbo Extra Thin, and the meteorite dial being a slightly duller version of the one found on Rolexes. Ticking away at 21,600 beats per hour in the case of the watch sits a Miyota caliber 8285 from the 8200 family, the same family of the ever-common Miyota 8215. This 8285, however, is slightly better than the 8215, featuring a day-date complication and hacking seconds, both of which the 8215 does not include. The 8285 has a beat error of -20 or +40 seconds a day, with mine sitting comfortably at under ± or -5, and is proudly displayed via the display caseback of the watch. The Cadison Day-Date sits at a decent price of $100, which may go down during sales. The watch, in my honest opinion, is super worth it. Seeing the amount of work and care put into this watch, there is no other Day-Date homage at this price range that gets close to the Cadison in terms of just being an overall good watch, having more good points than bad points in most of the areas of concern. And with the 8285 ticking away at the back, you've got an excellent combo if you are the guy that is ready for any non-extreme situations at all times, with the watch being a sporty and dressy piece at the same time. Anyways, that is all the time I have for this video, or more like that is all the English vocabulary I can muster to describe this timepiece. The link for the watch is in the description, and once again, have a very nice day.